Good evening, everyone. Welcome to St. Mark's and our pre-Super Bowl party, right? This is warming us up, literally. So, welcome to the band. You haven't been here. You have this COVID period that we haven't seen you, so welcome back to the band. The Yotam Rocha Trio with Kevin Ing on piano. And if anybody needs the facilities, they're downstairs. You can use the stairwell upstairs or the elevator, okay? A big round of applause for the band.
Just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesel humming. You don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. I said now people get ready for the train to Jordan. Picking up passengers from coast to coast. And faith is the key. Open the doors of boredom, 'cause there's room for all those who love the Lord. I said there ain't no room for the hopeless sinner would hurt all mankind just to save his own. And pity on those whose chances grow thinner, 'cause there's no hiding place against the kingdom's throne. There's a train a-coming. You don't need no baggage. You just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesel humming. You don't need no ticket. We just ask for a $10 suggested donation. 'Cause you don't need no ticket. You just thank the Lord. And you don't need no ticket. You just thank the Lord. So thank the Lord. Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord. Hi everyone. So we are on this side, the Sam Rocha trio. We have Jeff Tobin on the drums. We have Yotam Ronen on the bass. And we are so excited to be here with you, but especially to be here with him, Kevin Eng on the piano. So that first song was obviously a song by Curtis Mayfield. This next song is a song that I wrote. It's called In the Self's Place. I miss myself, a man I never knew. I miss myself, my soul abides in you. I miss myself. You were there before, I miss myself. Walk on distant shore, I miss myself. Yeah. Look what I've become, I miss myself. Yeah. When I was young, I miss myself. Take me where you are, I miss myself. So close, so far. Da-da-da-da-doo, I wanna stay with you. Boom, da-da-da-da-doo, I wanna stay. Yeah. Boom, da-da-da-da-doo, I wanna stay with you. Boom, da-da-da-da-doo, I wanna stay. Self's place, in the 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 self's place. Self's place, in the 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 self's place. Only you, only you. Thank you, everyone. So that song is called In the Self's Place. It is a rip-off from a book by an author named Jean-Luc Marion. And he wrote a book called In the Self's Place, The Approach of St. Augustine. And it's a book that makes, I think, a very provocative but also compelling argument that Augustine was among the first, certainly in the ancient world, certainly in North Africa, certainly in the area and region where he lived, who presented both self-disclosure through his confessions, but also a theory of the self that came with it that ultimately erased the self, seeking unity with God as a kind of a replacement for the self. So in a way, it's a book that argues that Augustine was the first postmodern philosopher. And I've always had a great affection for Jean-Luc Marion in my own academic work. And the album that it's on is called Late to Love, and it's a concept album interpreting Augustine's confessions, in some cases with some help, like this song, Jean-Luc Marion's book, and in other cases through my own interpretation. This next song also comes from that album, and it is called Alien House. Aliens come and go. In time and space they wander. Aliens say, hello, but too much time they squander, for by the time of greeting, the alien is no more. Alien faces fleeting the sand, castle on the shore, and while the alien wishes for just a while longer, wash like soiled dishes before the funk grows any stronger. Hey, la da da da. Come and go. In time and space they wander. Aliens say hello, but too much time they squander, for by the time of greeting the alien is no more. Alien face is fleeting, sandcastle by the shore. And while the alien wishes for just a while longer, wash like soiled dishes before the funk grows any stronger. Self is a house divided against itself. My inner self is a house divided against itself now. My inner self is a house divided against itself now. My inner self is a house divided against itself now. My inner self is a house divided against itself, and my inner self is a house divided against itself now. any stronger. Thank you so much. That song is called Alien House. Like I said, it's from the same album. The kind of poetry verse thing, that's by me. But the bridge, my inner self is a house divided against itself, that bridge is from Augustine's pen within his Confessions. It's one of the forms of evidence, in fact, for Marion's argument about Augustine's notion of the self, because the self there is divided. It's a house divided against itself. And that begins, you could say, the development of Marion's thesis. Anyhow, we normally have, so for those who are here, I assume you know, but we, and some of you know because you've been to past shows, but we have been doing this quarterly concert now for 3 quarters. Summer, fall, and now winter. We started off, we were first hosted by the Shaughnessy Heights United Church out on 33rd and Granville. Wonderful community, wonderful people. We were so happy to be there. And we just had a very limited space with very limited seating, and that worked for us, but we wanted to maybe allow for more people and also not have to charge such a hefty ticket on the front end to give more access to people to make it. So we have moved here to St. Mark's, which, as many of you know, is my home parish, and it's also been a pseudo home for the band. We sometimes sneak in at night and run through some things. Yeah, I know, I probably shouldn't say that, but yeah. Kevin and I sometimes do the same thing. Anyhow, and then the fact that there's a piano here and a wonderful pianist here, it just all came together for us, you know. So I'm going to do something I haven't done in this context. Usually I play one song by myself on like acoustic guitar or something. I didn't bring an acoustic guitar to the show today because we have an acoustic piano. And so I'm just going to sing a song that I wrote a long time ago when I was in Austria studying abroad. My girlfriend, who's now my wife, I wasn't quite sure how things were going to go. So I wrote this song on the piano, and I'm a horrible pianist. In fact, I don't play piano at all. So I can never replay it the way I wrote it. But this song is called There Was a Boy, and it features Kevin, of course, on piano. There was a boy, his name was me. He always dreamed of what love would be like. He thought of love, it would be full of joy. But he was wrong. See, I was only a boy. Now why that boy, see, I'm becoming a man. I'm learning of love and of who I am. The more that I learn, the more I am taught precisely what true love is not. Cause love isn't always happy, love isn't always glad, but love is never angry, love is never mad. And I know for me to love you, that I must show that I love you enough to let you go. See, I knew that love was patient, I knew that love was kind, but never knew that in love I'd find days without breath, nights without sleep, a siege on my mind, a vigil for me to keep, times that my heart seems split in two, but still through it all, madly in love with you. This isn't what love seemed to that boy before, but be assured that I do this and more. Because love isn't always happy, love isn't always glad, but love is never angry, love is never mad. And I know for me to love you, that I must show that I love you enough to let you go. And while I can't live without you, you must always be convinced that in my love's arms you are free. You are free. To love and to be happy, to love and to be glad, to love and not be angry, to love and not be mad. And I know for me to love you, that I must show that I love you enough to let you go. Oh, I love you enough to let you go. Thank you so much. That song is There Was a Boy. It's a tricky song. In fact, the other version of the story I told earlier is that it's one of those ballads that doesn't quite accept a beat willingly. It's got to be a little bit free time, so piano is perfect for that. But as a band, we haven't quite wrangled this song together into, we thought it could work as like a nice 6/8 bluesy ballad, but we're not there yet. So, someday we'll get it all together. But great job, Kevin. Thank you so much, Kevin. This song is called Joy Comes in the Morn. Mourn the loss of innocence. I lost the morning too. An evening tide surrounded me with skies of ocean blue. With skies of ocean blue. This oceanic loneliness, a wide, divine despair. Within the depths of the abyss, I found my Savior there. I found my Savior there. With me into the night since drew him near. And still I tried to run, to hide. Maybe I could disappear. Maybe I should disappear. He lit a candle and set it down. Flour began to spread. And on that table, lovingly, he began to make the bread. He began to bake the bread. Tell me, how does the bread of life live on bread alone? He took my hand, he said, I understand. Everybody needs a home. Everybody needs a home. And Jesus, you're a friend to all. You wept for Lazarus. Your friends, they slept, denied and ran. You betrayed me with a kiss. You betrayed me with a kiss. Sometimes a home is all you don't have. Sometimes the veil is torn. When you despair, love finds you there, and joy comes in the morn. Joy comes in the morn. When you despair, love finds you there, and joy comes in the morn. Joy comes in the morn. Thank you so much. This next song is a song that I recorded on an album called Fear and Loving. And part of the, in Spanish we say the chiste, so the whole point or the shtick, I guess, to the album was that I recorded it in live locations. So each track was a different space and place. And this particular track, I actually recorded right here. Right over there, and Kevin played the piano to it. At the time, it was pretty impressionistic, and Kevin and I played a rendition. It was really early at that time, and he sounds great on this. Now, since then, it's become more composed, and yeah, this is called Fear and Loving. It's a little bit country. Flow like coke and wine from the mountainside. Never knew how far I could recline, so far in our prime. Hope keeps us alive. So take these feet, make them fly. All face, all eye, all eye. Go ahead, Kevin. So take these hands, fold them round, salt these bones with holy ground, holy ground. Fear and love and flow like coke and wine from the mountainside. Well, thank you so much for that. Quick tune here. So this next song requires a little bit of an introduction. You may notice on your sheets that the first note is ask you to not applaud as is customary at the end of this particular song, both because we have something to go in it and I think it'll become more clear. I've been playing guitar since I was 5, and I grew up in the church, and yeah, I've basically been playing music and singing and playing guitar, and as y'all know here, I play drums and stuff for a long, long time. And, you know, one of the reasons I really appreciate the heck out of these guys is I can't read or write music or anything, so I have to give them these basically atrocious looking charts, and I don't even know how to communicate with music theory stuff, and so, you know, they are so patient with me, and they learn all this stuff, and Jeff writes out his own charts for himself, and, you know, and they do all the thing that the pros need to do to do the music. But being a folk musician for about 35 years now, you know, I've gone through phases. I had my guitar on me before I started doing the books and becoming a professor and everything. But over time, especially over the last maybe 10 years or so, I've been asked a lot of questions about the relationship between my art, for instance, and my ideas, my writing, stuff like that. And for a long, long time, I was really persuaded by the school of thought that was somewhere between the Dylan school, which is like, I don't know what to say, you figure it out kind of a thing. I still like that school. I have a lot of affection for that, which makes me very disinclined to say anything ever when I'm playing. I would love to pull a Miles Davis and just, you know. But then on the other hand, I think I was pretty deeply influenced by a particular maybe theory of art or a view that took a pretty harsh position about art as being kind of like one of the only or the last or perhaps, I don't know, this kind of anarchic thing, this thing that stood outside of even space and time, if you could. And because of that, I had a pretty antagonistic relationship to political art, or to the role of art in politics. And now looking on that, I think that was a pretty stupid position to be taken for a guy who plays blues guitar music and sings spirituals, and there were a lot of counterfactuals available to correct my view, but I didn't quite see it in my music or in my art for a very long time. And for a long time I had a deep hostility, in fact, to the idea that there would be, if any message at all from the Dylan School, any kind of a instrumental message in my music or stuff. Even when it came to religious stuff, I always wanted to say my music isn't really devotional, it's not really made specifically for, mass or what have you. Again, some of you should be rolling your eyes. You're like, Sam, you write liturgical music all the time. I know, but I was an idiot. So, for a long time now, I've had the opportunity to, I came to the guitar as a Mexican American. My dad plays guitar. So I grew up with these kind of songs. Si tú hablas con Dios, las cosas cambiarán orando. That kind of stuff, right? And I grew up learning to play nylon string guitar, requintos, and learning my basically positions, primera, segunda, tercera, for singing, for playing, the do, re, mi, fa, sol notation for chords and stuff like that. But whenever I went to grad school in Columbus, I wanted to get into the blues scene a little bit because I was playing some electric guitar, and I thought that maybe I could do that. But there wasn't much space for what I was doing in the blues scene in Columbus. But I did find a home in the soul music scene in Columbus, Ohio, the neo-soul, new jazz, playing at, not just predominantly, but on the east side of Columbus, playing at pretty much exclusively 25 or up, black music clubs in there. And I was embraced by that particular musical community and went on to play at a Holiness Pentecostal church and was really embraced by that community there as well. And I think that's really what started working on me in terms of coming to a new understanding of my music and of these questions of art. But it took a long time because that was like 2007, 8, 9, and here we are. For whatever reason, after a lot of broad engagement with the tradition, and here I would say the black intellectual and artistic tradition, both on guitar and within the realm of letters and more, the summer of 2020 happened, and the George Floyd protests came about. Of course, the Black Lives Matter movement started with the acquittal of George Zimmerman after the Trayvon Martin killing. But it was, for whatever reason, again, a delayed response on my part, that in summer of 2020, I really felt the need to take an even more proactive position and voice, not only in terms of advocacy and activism, but it also very quickly kind of turned me around on the question of art. And so I wrote probably the most political song I'll ever write. I don't know if, and I'm not ashamed of it anymore as a political song, but it is a very explicit song, and it doesn't mean language, I mean it's content. It's a very theological song, it's a very religious song, and the worst thing about this song is, sorry, I would love to stop playing it. I would love to just archive it as the song of the summer of 2020, but with the most recent video of killing of Tyree Nichols in Memphis, I hate that this song is a relevant and appropriate song to continue playing. I play it rarely.
but I wanted to play it today. As you can tell, one of the reasons I don't like to play it is because it gets me this way. So this song is a testament to the basic message of whether it's Black is Beautiful or Black Power or Black Lives Matter, but the explicit message against anti-Black white supremacy. I'm a Mexican American. I know about other forms of racism and xenophobia and stuff, but this is a focus on that particular issue. So that's where the message goes and who the message is for. I also think it's really important to be explicit and honest about just the origins of this music we play. You know, none of us up here are African American or Black or from the African diaspora, but there's no question that I wouldn't be anywhere without this music and this cultural tradition. And I'm thinking not just in terms of broad cases, W.B. Du Bois, whatever, but I'm thinking about Chinera Richardson and Dre Scott and Ty Stubblefield and the people who really took me in Columbus and really made me into a musician, I felt like. So this song is for them. The song is an acronym, SKPB. It's a very blunt object, and I know, but I feel okay with it. The title is Stop Killing Black People. That's the title. Stop killing black people. The root is the soul of the stem. Stop killing black people. Stop killing them. Cain, where is your brother? The bloods cry out from the ground. Could you hear him cry for his mother as the people just stood around? I am my brother's keeper. I am my sister's shield. Not a single one is cheaper. Not a single one should yield. So stop killing black people. The root is the soul of the stem. Stop killing black people. Stop killing them. 8 minutes 46 until he breathed his last. 200, another 46, 100 more to pass. Is our iniquity too great? Who can bear the sin? How can love conquer hate when it dwells so deep within?
Cain's sin has justified slavery. He would put his mark on the dark. This irony is Abel's bravery that gave the bush its spark. So the powerful will drown, and the Red Sea of their pride, the mighty will be cast down until their conceit has died. So stop killing black people. The root is the soul of the stem. Stop, 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 stop killing them.
תפילה למשה איש האלוהים.
Lord, you have been our dwelling place in all generations. Lord, you have been our dwelling place in all generations. Sing along. Lord, you have been our dwelling place in all generations. Lord, you have been our dwelling place in all generations. You turn them away, they're like a dream. Like grass that is renewed in the morning. In the morning it flourishes and is renewed. In the evening it fades and withers and withers. Lord, you have been our dwelling place in all generations. Lord, you have been our dwelling place in all generations. You turn man back to dust and say, turn back, you children of Adam. For 1,000 years in your sight are night. Yesterday, when it is past, or like a watch in the night. Lord, you have been our dwelling place in all us to count our days, so that we may gain a wise heart. Turn, O Lord, how long? Have compassion on your servant, your servant. Lord, you have been our dwelling place in all generations. Lord, you have been our dwelling place in all generations. Satisfy us in the morning with your steadfast love. All our days. May the blessing of the Lord our God be upon us and prosper for us the work of our hands, of our hands. Lord, you have been our dwelling in all generations. Lord, you have been our dwelling place in all generations. Lord, you have been our dwelling place in all generations. Lord, you have been our dwelling place in all generations. Thank you so much. That last song is actually a responsorial psalm that I wrote right over there. Also, there's a lot of right over there going on tonight. You know, when I sub for Kevin every once in a while, since I can't read, I just have to make up my own psalms and stuff. Sometimes I make up acclamations and I don't tell anyone, but I think y'all noticed. But that was one. I know, Jenny, you were there, and a few people were there. I always forget them because, you know, I've written so many responsorial psalms I can't even. But that one I kind of remembered. And it makes me think really fondly about Brian Sung, who isn't here with us anymore, and Nikki, his wife, who passed recently as well. He read the first reading that day, and it was Vanity of Vanities, that scripture. And I recorded it because I kind of knew it sounded nice, and I was working on a project, so I thought I'd get a little scratch track of it. And it ended up being the one I used for the album. Album is called Anamnesis, or $10. But anyway, I remember going to Brian and asking him if I could use his voice reading that reading over it. And he was just so nice about it, and he was so kind, and so he's on that track, reading that first reading, and yeah, it's a lovely responsorial song. This next song is a song called Thanksgiving, and it's from the same album. Guys were looking at me a little bit funny.
I put it in the wrong key. It's like, what's wrong with you? Yeah. All right, let's do that one over. Oh, that's it. Healed me by opening the wound, opening the wound, opening the wound. You freed me by forcing me to bloom, forcing me to bloom, forcing me to bloom. You saved me by going into hell, by going into hell, going into hell. You amaze me by a thread that is so frail, a thread that is so frail, a thread that is so frail. And I want to thank you for this night. Thank you for the light as the moon reflects the sun. Know the desires of my heart. The whole longs for the part, the ocean for the brook. You seized me, healed me from the gun, healed me from the gun, you healed me from the gun. You chased me and freed my soul to run, freed my soul to run, freed my soul to run. You pierced me and saved me from within. You saved me from within. You saved me from within. You bless me and amaze me as my kin. Amaze me as my kin. Amaze me as my kin. And I want to thank you for this day, even though it's hard to pray, 'cause the sun is far too bright. You know my feet are made of clay, but still you choose to stay. Still you choose to stay. You healed me by opening the wound. Open me. Yotam plays his intro, I want to mention one thing going back to Dwelling Place. I was supposed to say something about it, but among other things, it really does matter to me, in particular given how close to the border of religious music I play, which sometimes seems close, sometimes seems further away. I'm just so happy to have a Jewish rhythm section. Yotam came up here, and Psalm 90 has an opening line where it kind of like declares of he said unto Moses, or kind of like this like preparatory poetic move that not all the Psalms have. And one thing you may have noticed is that whenever we sing Dwelling Place, Yotam sings it along in Hebrew as we sing the chorus. And so today I asked him if he could come up and at least declare that opening line of Hebrew scripture in Hebrew. And so that's what he did earlier. This next song is, this next song is a psalm. It's Samuel's psalm, and so it's not a traditional Davidic Hebrew psalm, but it's a psalm that I wrote. My name is Samuel David, so Shmuel David. I've learned to take that a bit more seriously and kind of respect my name, I guess, a bit more over the last few years. And, it's another thing I think I've really grown into and found. And one of the coolest things is that whenever this music is shared, including in rehearsals, I find that we find different ways to interpret the lyrics and to make sense of the passages. And sometimes it's kind of easy because it's Hebrew scripture in the Old Testament, but other times it's more distant. And I've found parts of my own faith tradition, found deeper parts in it through sharing this music. And so this next song is a song that I really love, and this intro is an intro that Yotam wrote for it. So he's not just adding Hebrew, he's also adding some music to the mix. But give it up for Yotam over there. Creation is your handiwork. The stars, they shine your light. You live inside my heart. Its dance is your delight. You live inside my heart. Its dance is your delight. Contradiction is your dwelling, great, vast, and small. You part the waters of the sea, and you mark the sparrow's fall. You part the waters of the sea and mark the sparrow's fall. Grace should be enough for me, but what about the rest? Do not forsake the other parts that I cannot confess.
Do not forsake the other parts that I cannot confess. Perhaps I'm speaking to myself, superstitious, unaware. Where two or more are gathered, you are surely there. Where two or more are gathered, you are surely there. Evil, joy, and wickedness you do not wash away. My feet instead you bathe, though they be of clay. My feet instead you bathe, though they be of clay. The world is broken by your love. This you surely know. You harvest from the seed that you cannot sow. You harvest from the seed that you cannot sow. Among friends, there's no need for justice. Aristotle said, the Son of Man has no place to rest his head. The Son of Man has no place to rest his head. Thank you so much. That song is Samuel's song. We're going to play another song from the Augustine Project from 2014. This song has a Latin title.
The title is Nemo est, and then parenthetically, qui non amet. This is another sort of, I guess you could say, in the academy, parentheses became all the rage in like the 90s or whatever, the postmodern thing. And so it's a bit of that. It is a direct quote from Augustine's ecclesiastical Latin pen from his treatise De Trinitate, on the Trinity. And it's just a phrase that he uses that says, Nemo est qui non amet, which is, there is no one who does not love. I used to interpret this is a day of confessions. I used to interpret this passage as this deeply metaphysical statement about love as being, that like there is nothing but love, almost a kind of saying. And I still kind of think that too. But when I paid more attention to the phrasing of Augustine, mainly because my sons study Latin, so I had to pay a little bit more attention to the details. I realized that Nemo est is really, there is no one. It's very social. It's not particularly metaphysical, to be honest. It's more of, no one out there doesn't love. Everyone loves. And I think over the last few years, inclusive of the things I shared earlier about my relationship between activism, politics, and art and stuff, I've found a kind of a lot of comfort in that maybe slightly less philosophically robust statement, that more social statement that everyone loves, because that gathers everyone together in a way. And maybe it's not as metaphysically majestic as some people would like, and I'm not so sure it's mutually exclusive, but that's where I am now with the song. I have to admit though, whenever I wrote it, I was much more in that mystical, metaphysical stage, and I think the music shows that a little bit, at least on the album. Beyond the theory and philosophy, I am just a huge fan of Pat Metheny. I can't say enough how much his sense of melody has impacted me as a musician. He's technically, arguably, among the greatest living jazz guitarists in the world, and I don't take anything away from him on that, and I can't even begin to emulate or do any of that myself. But his sense of melody is, you can whistle his melodies. They're so accessible, and they have such a happy birthday kind of quality to them. And that I can do. So this is, you could say, a song that's inspired on the one hand by Augustine and De Trinitate, and I suppose today I will interpret it on the more social side versus the original metaphysical version I wrote for the album. But to be completely honest, I think the most honest way to talk about this song, if one must talk about one's songs, which he says I should, is that this is really an ode to how much I, in particular, love Pat Metheny, and just maybe in the world to come, I'll be able to get closer. But this is, in this world, I think, as close as I'll probably get. Thank you. All right. Anyhow, so this is Nemo est qui non amet. And it's an instrumental. I recorded this loop a little bit earlier, so no prefabricated stuff, I promise.
I'd like to introduce the band now one last time. We have Jeff Tobin on the drums. Yotam Ronen on the bass. We're so lucky to be joined by our special guest, Kevin Ng on piano. Thank you all so much. Also, thanks to St. Mark's and to Father Rob. You know, he lets me get away with stuff like this. I don't know how or why, but thank you, Father Rob, back then. Thanks to Sophia and Gabe who helped me load in today and set up some of the stuff. After our last song, we're going to be heading over to Plato's Cave. If you don't know about Plato's Cave, I have to admit, everyone, someday I'm going to go off and I'm going to talk about Plato's Cave, Book 7, Republic, and all that. But for now, Plato's Cave is out the door and to the right and right through there. And there's some sweets and there's some apple cider and there's some bubbly Pellegrino type stuff that they sell at Costco and stuff like that. And so, you know, there's no need to rush out. We can have a little bit of fellowship and get to hopefully say hi to each of you and thank you for being here. And yeah, yes. To you. Oh, thank you. So the first song was to kind of turn over a new leaf of our concert series because now you need no ticket. So that was Curtis Mayfield. This song is a song by Bob Dylan that hopefully echoes back some of the themes, maybe in a slightly lighter way. How many roads must a man walk down before you call him a man? And how many seas must a wind-up sail before it sleeps in the sand? And how many times must the cannonballs fly before they're forever banned? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. I know you guys know it, so you can sing along. And how many years can a mountain exist before it's washed into the sea? And how many years can some people exist before they're allowed to be free? And how many times can a man turn his head and pretend that he just doesn't see? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. before he can see the sky. And how many knows before he can hear people cry? And how many deaths will it take till he knows that too many people have died? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. Well, thank y'all. Have a great night tonight. We hope you'll join us at Plato's Cave. Thank you so much. Have a great night, everyone.